Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to take a look at a concept that's very similar to the one that we looked at in our last video. So if you're still struggling with that one, I recommend that you go back and you rewatch the last video before moving on to this one. We're still going to be doing the same thing where we're taking fractions or decimals and changing them into percentages. However, now we're going to be looking at percentages that are greater than 100 or less than 1. All right? So here I've just basically reiterated what I said. Percentages can be greater than 100. For example, if I have, say, an improper fraction, like 740 over 100, that's an improper fraction, which means my percentage is going to be greater than 100, because this is in a ratio to 100, so that means the top number is my percentage, 740%. I've also gone ahead and converted it into a decimal for you. What you'll notice the difference with this decimal is, since it's greater than 100%, I have a whole number with my decimal, because this is a percentage that is greater than 100%. 100% means I have a fraction or a part of it. Over 100% means I have more than that. So here I have a whole number and that. So all I did was take my fraction, change it into percentage, percentage into decimal, which we've talked about how to do in the last video. But you'll notice we can have one that's over 100, that's fine. The other thing we can have is one that's less than 1. So for example, if I have 5 1,000ths, I can write that as a fraction. However, you'll notice in order to write this as a percentage, what I would want to do is I would want to write the equivalent fraction over 100. Well, if I do that, I do this crazy thing that I keep telling you we shouldn't do. I mix decimals and fractions. But that's fine, because it'll show me what my percentage number is. It would be 0.5 over 100, because I would have to divide both of those by 10, which means I have 5/10 or 1/2 of a percentage. I don't even have 1 full percent. Okay? Then if we took this and changed it into its decimal form, I'm going to wind up with 0.005. So I went with 5 1,000ths, which is what we had over here. So we can have percentages that are greater than 100 and less than 1. We still would write them and convert them the same way we did the other ones. So we'll do a few examples of that. Oh, I scuffed up my wheel a little bit here. Sorry, guys. Rewrite that. All right. So here we're going to write our fraction or our decimal as a percentage. So what you'll notice here, I have 4 over 1. Rather than converting that into the equivalent fraction, I'm simply going to rewrite it as a decimal, or in this case, it's a whole number, 4, and it would be 4.0 if you want to be specific. Now, the reason I'm going to write those zeros up there is because what you'll recall is to convert our decimal into a percentage, I multiply by 100, which means I move my decimal twice, and I wind up with 400%. I could have rewritten this as the equivalent fraction by multiplying the bottom and the top by 100, and I still would have wound up with 400%. So which way you choose to do it is up to you, whatever way works easiest for you. So here I have a decimal. To change a decimal into a percentage, again, all I have to do is multiply by 100, which moves my decimal over 2 spots. So here I wind up with 0.3%. So the decimals are nice and easy. That's why I like to work with them. So here I have 8/5. I'll show you how to do that by writing the equivalent fraction. So what do I have to multiply 5 by to get to 100? That would be 20. 20 times 8 is 160. So I have 160 over 100, meaning my percentage is 160%. Again, I have the decimal, and I love the decimals because I know all I have to do is move my decimal over twice. 0.92%. See, the decimals are nice and quick. I love doing that. So here now I'm going to write the percentage as a decimal. So now remember, we're just going the other way. Up here, I multiply my percentage by 100, or my decimal by 100 to get my percent. Here, I'm going to divide my percent by 100 to get my decimal. So remember, if we can't see our decimal, it's at the end. So if I'm dividing, I'm moving it 2 spaces to the left. So as a decimal, 750 winds up being 7.5. Here again, and here's where a lot of kids get confused, because you already see the decimals, so you start thinking I need to multiply by 100. It's a percentage, I'm still dividing by 100. So I'm going to move this 2 spots, which means I need to drop in a placeholder 0. 0.0025 is how I would write 1/4% as a decimal. Here, 185. Again, I don't see my decimal, so it's at the end. We're just going to move it 2 spots. 1.85. Here, all I'm doing, dividing by 100, moving my decimal over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 zeros before my 4. So all we're doing is the same thing we were doing yesterday, just keeping in mind that they can be greater than 100 or less than 1. Again, if you're struggling, please rewatch the video. You can always rewatch the previous video as well. You can post your questions in the comment box. You can email me. You can ask in class. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow.